right, I think that's it for the oil sticks. I'm trying to get in the habit of doing oil sticks before every glazing layer. Rubbing it out just a little bit in case I have cold feet, in case I get nervous about the strength of some of those marks. All right, hello friends. Thank you for joining me today. My name is Dan, and this is Daily Art Adventure number 698. That makes it official. In case you wondered, that makes it official. And I am out here working on a painting for a fourth time. That breaks a record in the last couple months. Maybe more than that. I'll turn you around in a minute so you can see the scene that I'm painting. Hello, Jolie. Good to have you on board. Let me get out of the way and show you the painting. And now I'll pick you up just for a second and show you again the street that I'm shooting. Except that the blue umbrellas are not there. So you can see that the interesting buildings. Hello, Uncle 60. I see a good question there. I didn't catch it, but I'll catch it here in a minute. My favorite viewer. Thank you, my friend. Thank you. Now, are the light posts lighting up the building and umbrellas? No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think this is sunlight, and I don't know. I could change my mind about that, but at the moment. Hello, Susan. All the regulars pile on. All right, so I have, by the way, I want to do more oil stick. The painting is very close to being finished. Oh, that was a strong stroke. The main thing I have to do this evening is glaze whatever colors I want. We'll talk about that in a minute. And then finish the bottom. Are you guys still looking at the bottom of the painting? No, let me zoom in here just real quick. So, I like the abstraction, I like the darkness, but it's a little too abstract, a little too dark. So I'm just gonna, whoa, look at that. I'm just going to pump up the bottom third of the painting. I hope the right amount, right? That's what we all hope all the time as artists, isn't it? That we do the right thing, the right amount. Before I start there though, I'm going to start with glazes. All right, and by the way, sorry about this afternoon's broadcasting disaster. I was fit to be tied, and I don't know what happened, but I sure hope it doesn't happen again. I'll just leave that for now. So when you're about to do a final glaze, that's what I call this, a final glaze. Doesn't mean I can't do it more than once. Pardon?
Was this a Ku Klux Klan town?
No, I don't know. Not that I know of.
There's a lot of Ku Klux Klans around.
Is there? Yeah. And so before you start the glaze, if you follow me, you're required to say, do you remember? We have this little routine that you guys in particular, when you're doing your paintings, that is, you need to say, well, I like it. Sorry, I like it pretty much. Okay, that's where half of you will choke on that because you have a hard time saying that you like your artwork. Which you'll start painting better if you start saying you like your artwork instead of beating yourself up and saying you don't like your artwork. All right, so you say I like it pretty much, but I wish it was more blank, and the blank is a color. And it can't be lighter, it can be darker. So that's what I'm going to say. I'm going to say I like it pretty much. except I'm getting yellow paint on my fingers and I don't know where it's coming from. I like it pretty much, but the top half needs to be a little richer, warmer. I'll say warmer. And the bottom half doesn't need anything. So there you go. That's kind of cheating. Okay, so I have on my brushes a very faint, fine slurry of oxide red and Indian yellow. So that's about classic, warm it up colors. Now, after I do these two colors, well, all the glazing, after I do the glazing, the next step is lifting off, wiping off. And as usual, the painting already looks better. Just with that little bit of work right there. I don't know if it looks any different to you, but it certainly looks different to me. The colors all just got richer. That's just the word for it. And of course, that's what I said. I want it to be richer. I'll do a little bit more on the edges. Sometimes I wish I could see what you guys are seeing because I'm not sure how much you're seeing. More to the point, I wish you guys could see what I'm seeing. I just got a text from Jane Hodges today. I mailed her a painting earlier this week and she said it looks so much better when she got it. She said it looks so much better in person. And of course, that's what I love to hear. And I think that's pretty much always the case. Now, without cleaning my brushes, I just picked up phthalo blue. Yeah, unless they're in a hurry.
Listen, you've got the complete copy.
I do.
Well, good. So now I'm hooked into this.
Good, way to go. Way to go. Way to go.
Much freer out
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Thanks, Bob. Good to see you. I would have turned the camera around. That was my good friend Bob Rankin. Nancy and I spent the weekend at his lake house last weekend. Had a great time. Delivered the eagle painting to his neighbor on Leesville Lake up there in Virginia. Some of you have heard me say that last year, that is 2018, I was named, for what it's worth, which may not be, I was named the #1 artist in the Triangle, Raleigh, Durham, Chapel Hill. By who? Well, by the only organization that has the nerve to do such a thing, okay? To name such a thing. It doesn't mean they're correct, they just have a lot of nerve. Anyway, I was named the #1 artist in the Triangle in 2018. I have no idea who's been named for 2019. Be that as it may, the man who just walked up and greeted me is Bob Rankin, and he's been listed as the #1 artist in the Triangle just about every year for the last 10 years. So I'm glad to count him among my friends. I'm just doing a general, warm stuff down here. All right, now it is time for ragging. And the first thing I'm going to rag is lift out these bright blue umbrellas. Okay, part of what is at work here is the simple and universal fact that transparent colors are much richer than opaque colors. And as I usually say, I'll say it again right now, that's not a matter of opinion, it's not up for grabs, it's like, no. That's what you think. Says who? No. So if that's what you're thinking, keep it to yourself because your ignorance should be spilling out. It's not a matter of opinion, it's a matter of physics. A transparent color is a BRT times 2 color, and an opaque color is a 1B color. 1B versus BRTE2. 2, 4, 6 processes, 6 things happen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different things happen physically to a transparent color. 1 thing happens to an opaque color. And I'm just going to leave it at that. You can beg me to explain that, but I won't. I will some other time. I just don't have the energy to do it right now. So almost every time when I do that final glaze, my eyes go, woo, that looks nice. And even where I'm lifting paint off the canvas, I'm not removing everything. I could if I rubbed really hard for a long time, but I don't usually. So even in the areas where I lift it off, the colors are slightly richer on these blue here in the sky and in these windows and on those lamps. All right, now before I start to tackle, good morning from Australia. Good to have you on board, Troy. Wow. I hope it's a nice morning for you. When I got home the other day and looked at this painting, you know, in the calm of my at-home studio, I went, oh my goodness. Do you ever have, of course you do. Do you ever have one of those, oh my goodness moments? If you're an artist, you have a lot of them, right? What was I thinking? That's crazy. Okay, so what struck me as crazy was that this sign, this Boyle and Pierce sign, which of course is a significant element in this scene, is just way too dark. So I need to lighten it. Now, lightening any part of the painting, if it's a small area, lightening, making some part of the painting lighter is a real easy operation. So I'm glad to tell you it's an easy operation. Now, what is not such an easy operation is I need to lower my easel down a little bit because I don't want to get a stiff neck looking up that high. There we go. I think that'll do. I have a set screw here in the back that is what really holds the easel at a particular height. Oh yeah, David Mercer. You know, before I forget about it, okay, David, if you're there, before I forget about it, I'm going to do right now what I promised to do a couple days ago, and that is I'm going to take a picture of my setup, my easel. And it's kind of a mess. The picture's going to be au naturel, as they say. Okay, hang on just a second. Okay, I'm going to edit these when I get back to my house. I'll label everything, explain why it's there. So forgive me just a minute, folks. I'm taking pictures of my setup. It will be several pictures, of course, not just one. It'll be a whole bunch of pictures. I'll open my box down here. This box used to carry a car battery that ran my lights and my sound system. But now that I have much better lights, I don't need to All right, I think that's the end of that operation. Thank you for your patience. So I will post these images. I'm going to edit them and label them and so on. I will post them on my YouTube community page. So if you are subscribed to my channel and you have the bell, you click the bell, you'll see. Hello, Uncle 60. Camera battery money. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So the rest of you, Uncle 60 is showing you how it's done. You can send me a little love if you want. Appreciate it. Every little bit helps. All right. So this sign is too dark. I was saying that making a small thing lighter is easy because it's one step operation. Making something darker is a lot more complicated because making it darker is easy. That's the easy part. But as soon as you put dark paint on your canvas, you are instantly not finished with the painting. Does that make sense? Because you have to follow through with light stuff. Whereas if you're just making some part of your canvas, you're painting lighter, it can be a one-step operation, as I am hoping this will be. So I'm basically just lightening and doing it by making interesting marks, of course. So it's not just a matter of sticking out my tongue, so to speak, and very carefully painting around all these letters. No. I'm very intentionally leaving some of the what's too dark. I'm definitely letting some of that shine through, if you will. Since it's dark, though, it's the opposite of shine, isn't it? You know what I mean, right? And I think as this sign goes down closer to the umbrellas, I'm also going to make it get bluer. Not a whole lot, just a little bit. As if the whole atmosphere on the street is turning this brilliant blue, influenced by the intensely blue umbrellas. Yeah, okay, but much better already. But now that I've done that, one thing, as you may know, one thing often leads to another, doesn't it? So now that I've made this sign lighter, I now recognize that some of the trim around, oh no, this is a lamppost. That needs to be lighter. And some of the trim down here needs to be lighter as well. So I'm just mixing blue and brown to get a warm or a cool gray, according to my taste. All right, I'm going to declare the bottom half, the top half, I mean, finished. It may not be, but at least for now it is. Always better to stop short rather than go too long. So I'm going to raise my easel back up. Tighten this set screw again. Hello. Almost done.
Okay.
Almost done. Oh, this way. They took down the umbrellas. There were
okay.
These tables are those tables, and those two buildings
I see.
right here.
I got
Yeah.
it. Very good.
Thank you.
local? Or?
I am. I am. Local and loco. Both.
Great.
How about you? Are you local?
Yeah,
Are-
we'll carry it.
Oh, okay, yeah, close enough.
Yep.
Very good. Thank you, friends.
From afar.
Excellent.
I'm from the UK.
Are you really? Well, good for you. Yeah, I don't have to. Give me some American paint.
Thank you.
Good. Welcome to the States. Thank you very much. All right, now the big task in front of me here this evening is finishing the figures down here, figures and the sidewalk and the tables and chairs and so on. And the danger I'm keenly aware will be to overdo it. Tell you what, I think I'm going to start by dancing around and doing some flesh tones here and there and here and there, so that I can not only define some of the figures. Some of them are so vague at the moment that even I can't tell. Is that supposed to be a person? So that's a little too vague, in my opinion, if even the artist can't tell if it's a person or not. So I'm mixing up a very dirty gray-brown, very mousy gray-brown. And I think I can zoom in. I think I'll be working quite exclusively on the bottom half of this painting for quite a while, so I can zoom in and hope not to forget. All right, so the principle here, if you've watched me much, then you've heard this expression before. I call it pictures in the clouds. Oh, that's amazing. The color that's on my patio, the color that's on my palette, not to be confused with the patio, it looks so dark and dingy, but when I put it on the canvas, it looks so much brighter. Okay, pictures in the clouds. I'm referring there to the game that we all play. We certainly played it as kids. I hope you still play it as an adult. It's a good road trip on a day when there's a lot of cumulus clouds, you know, the fluffy balls of clouds in the sky. It doesn't work very well with cirrus clouds. Storm clouds, it works best actually with storm clouds. Anyway, you're looking for pictures, and maybe you, like you've heard the studies or the scientific something, not sure what to call it, that the human mind is like addicted to patterns. This is looking for pictures, looking for order in chaos, evidently is part of our very deep in our psyche. So much so that human beings will very often invent and make up order where there is none. And furthermore, if you don't know this, today's your lucky day. I'm going to teach it to you. And furthermore, the one thing that we're more likely to see, even if it's not there, you understand? When we're inventing order in our minds, even if the order's not there, the one thing that we're more likely to see than anything else is a human face. So that's why when you play with your grandchildren or your children, you paint pictures in the clouds, the one thing that is most likely to bring the biggest squeal of delight and recognition is when, I'll say in this case, the child goes, look, look it, mommy, look it. There's old man. Oh, whatever. Got it. Anyway, so that's the game that I'm playing here. And I'm just looking, of course, not just merely for people, and certainly not mainly faces. They're too small here. I think the second thing we're most likely to see is probably the human figure. Arms, legs, hands, whatever. Anyway, so I'm looking for things that look like people, and then I'm just giving them a little gentle push in that direction, hopefully without overdoing it. And in fact, a key principle, I think, to doing this well in a painting is, in fact, even at this stage, is to make some random marks that aren't necessarily identifiable, that aren't, I haven't done that very much yet, so I'm telling you to do something at the moment that I'm not practicing what I preach at the moment very well. I seem to have a lot of people with hands folded across there in front of them. And I think that's a weakness. I have too much of that going on right now, so I'll have to go back and mess some of that up later. So almost all the figures that I'm painting now were originally painted as accidents. They have emerged little by little out of the fog and mist and chaos, so that now you and I are seeing quite clearly seeing figures, but they didn't start that way. They started very messy. Can't decide if there's a person in there. I don't think so. Okay, tell you what I'm going to do. Well, actually what I'm going to do is get out some more ultramarine paint. That's not what I was going to say. I'm going to leave people now. That's not what I mean to say. I'm going to leave putting paint on the figures, and I'm going to put paint between the figures. In other words, the sidewalk and the buildings and so forth behind. So I think if I just keep using this dirty gray, add blue to it, and then add white to it so it's lighter, I think that will be a fair representation. So it's right now, a very neutral mid-tone gray. In fact, it's probably too bright, and I'm sure it is, so hang on. So to darken it, I'm using raw umber, oxide red, and more ultramarine to make a darker gray. There we go. Oh, more blue. I wanted a cool gray, not a warm gray. All of these are relative terms, of course. Now, here, let me just for fun point you at my... If mud had anything to do with color, which it does not. Mud has nothing to do with color. If it was color, then this would all be mud. Those colors are just about as muddy as you can possibly, kind of mousy gray, warm gray, muddy gray. But of course, mud has nothing to do with colors. You will see shortly, because I'm actually using the darkest of the colors I just showed you right now. And watch what happens when I put it on the canvas. Suddenly, it shows up as a very non-muddy color. It's a lovely, looks brown actually. I don't care what color it looks. I only care that it is an appropriate color. So hint of the tabletop there. It's a little bit too neat. In fact, Notice how carefully I'm doing this. Not at all. All right. I think this area over here would look good if it looked more like a slightly lighter sidewalk. Lighter than it is right now. Right now it's very dark. I just wiped out a chair leg. It turns out it was in the wrong place.
I looked up your website.
Did you?
And Nelson Art.
That's right.
.com.
Exactly.
Yeah, so she was wondering how to get in touch with you.
Very good.
All the numbers.
Very good.
All your media
That's exactly.
links are all there.
That's right. Thank you so much. Very good to see you again. What fun. That groan was not really because something bad is happening, but it's more like I'm trying so hard not to let anything bad happen here. The disaster here would be overpainting, be painting too much. Now, fortunately, because I am in oils, I have a little bit of a safety valve in that, and I'll almost certainly take advantage of this safety valve. In a few minutes, I'm going to put down the brushes and I'm going to pick up a rag or two, and I'm going to mess up quite spontaneously much of what I've just put down. I don't know if the word is much is, but maybe some. I'm going to mess up a significant portion of what I've just put down on the canvas. Is this showing up? Barely, huh? Yeah, you can see it. Troy always saw rabbits in the clouds. That's funny. Elephants in the clouds. Oh, Troy, can someone please tell me what PSI I should set my airbrush to? Well, I'll give you an opinion. In years past, Troy, I did, and somebody else might have a better opinion than I. It depends on what kind of airbrush you have and what it is you're doing with it. I'm not sure that question can be answered, to tell you the truth. Although I do remember Drew Blair, who's the master, telling me, giving me a number. Was it 25? And I feel like that's kind of high compared to what most airbrush artists do. Experiment, Troy, that's all you can do. Just try it at one setting and then see how that works and try it at something else. It depends on what medium what you're spraying. You know, is it acrylic, is it ink, is it gouache, what's the medium? Depends on the heaviness of it. It depends what you're spraying onto. Troy, if you want to, you can go to my website, Dan Nelson Art, click on illustrations, and then click on airbrush just to see some of my airbrush stuff, and then you can decide whether you want to take advice from anybody who does airbrush painting that well or that poorly, as you are welcome to think. Okay, I'm going to stop because there's more danger in keeping going than there is in stopping and doing something else. So I have a rag, stuck a finger in my rag, as I said a little while ago, and just making a little bit more chaos. Now, the nice thing about doing crazy chaos like I just did right then is that it's easy to undo. Like I like most of the strokes that I just made, but for instance, the back of this chair right here, I would like to carve it back into existence. So that's the, when I go crazy like that and just make a bunch of abstract marks, it's not quite as dangerous or quite as brave as it may first appear, because it's easily diminished. Am I saying that right? All right, I'm going to use the same brushes. Let's do something different. A lot of these people already have slightly bluish clothes on, blue shirts and so forth. I'm going to go in that direction just for a few minutes. Let's do some. Hello. Hey.
That's awesome.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
I remember when you did the other week down there by the Walters and stuff.
That's right. Oh, good. Thank you. Thank you. So I'm going to do some blue clothing. Not too much, not too little. Isn't that the way all art is? Okay, I can make it bluer. That's nice to know. Keep it loose, keep it loose. Try not to explain too much. This is, hello. Please help yourself. This is the zone where the old joke, how many people does it take to do a painting? Two, one to paint and one to shoot them. I am in that space. Very possible I need somebody to shoot me right now. Not literally. All right, now that's enough blue, I think. Let's. All right, I'm gonna fall back on a funny little tradition or funny little habit that I have. Thank you, sir. Did you see me out here before?
Yeah, this is the first time.
Oh, well, thank you.
Just thought this was a super neat thing.
Thank you. Here's a funny tradition I have. I almost always have a key figure in red. It's no accident, it's a key figure and it's red. And it's almost always a woman. And let me just mix up some very dirty red on my brushes. This woman would be a good candidate, but she's already quite distinctly in blue, and I like her in blue. This person, she has her back to us. She could be in red. This person could be in red. Let me visualize that. Here, it's real close to this red. Might be good, or might be, no, I think I need a little color over here, actually. This could be a woman, or I could put a man in red. It's this one or this one. No, this one. All right, decided. A painting is a sum total of thousands, actually, maybe, especially a painting this size, and this involves tens of thousands of micro decisions, right? And the more of those decisions that we quote unquote accidentally make correct, then it's a good painting. The more decisions that are not optimal, then it's not one of our better paintings. That's just the way it goes. That right there was a real obvious, that felt like a decision. All right, I'm going to stop there. Oh, yeah. I never face what I'm painting, because if you paint this big, you can do that, but not this. Oh no, the umbrellas were here. Yeah. They were here when I started the painting. Yeah. Let me use the same red to pump up just a little bit of this. I don't even know what it is. It's purely abstract. It looks good. There we go. Yeah. All right, Troy, way to go. 25 worked, eh? Almost running out of paper towels. That would be a mild disaster when I run out of paper towels. I just wiped the dirty red paint off my brushes, and now going to try to mix up some purple. I just want to do a tiny bit of purple clothing here somewhere. I typically, when I'm doing a crowd of people, this barely qualifies as a crowd, but I usually go around the color wheel. For instance, red, then I go purple, blue, green, orange, yellow, and back to red. So I'm sort of doing that same trick, although, again, this is a pretty small crowd. That's an oxymoron. It's a small crowd, because doesn't crowd mean a big one? Anyway, small grouping. Gnats. While I've got purple on my brushes, he thinks it's a perfect time to do some broken color. I'm going to wipe off the same brushes again. By the way, there is a hazard, there's a danger in using the same brushes for too long all the time. So I'm reaching that point right now. Do not ever boast and brag and say, I can do an entire painting with one brush or something like that. I have actually seen that online. Somebody boasting as if that was an exquisite skill. It is not. And it's usually very ill-advised, because the same brushes used over and over again almost invariably result in sameness of mark, right? So I have a number 3 and a number 4 filbert in my hand. And if I keep using them much longer, I'm already stretching it. Too much of the painting will have brush strokes of a similar size. Do you see how that would be unpleasant to the viewer? Now again, the viewer will not recognize why they're bothered, unless they're an artist or an art teacher. They won't notice what it is bothering them. That's not what I mean. All of this for the viewer is unconscious. But as artists, we're supposed to know, in fact, what does bother the viewer. There's a little smudge of green. There we go. I am a little bit stymied. I probably should take a little break Well, I'll take one first of all just by walking straight back. Okay, the good news is I have not overdone it yet. I've kept everything very muted down here, and that's good because I'm going to bump up the value a little bit lighter in here. But going lighter is easy. Once you've gone too light and you have to go dark again, that's hard, right? Because then that requires a two-step process, a two-step operation. Glazing and then following through. All right, I know what to do. I haven't done this yet. Okay, and it is time for me to change brushes. So let's clean these. I'm going to mix up some dark stuff. And so I've been using a 3 and a 4. I'm going to use a 6 and how about a 6 and a 2? There we go. So I use a 3 and a 4. I'm going to do 6 and a 2 so that I introduce different size or different feeling brush strokes to the painting. Somebody out there needed to hear that. Do not use the same brush for too long. All right, so I have dark and of course transparent, and if you're a regular here, then you know I didn't need to tell you transparent, because if it's dark, it's transparent, and if it's transparent, it's dark, right? But for any newcomers that might be here, you always get dark with transparent, and you get light with opaque. So this now, doing dark bits, allows me to introduce quite a different element into the painting, avoiding boring sameness. Variety is one of the highest values in the art of painting. Variety in composition, variety of shape, variety of line, variety of texture, variety of color, variety of brushstroke, which is kind of another way of saying variety of texture, in my opinion. But in every respect in a painting, variety is most important. Oh, this is going well. I'm liking what's happening here. Now, you understand, don't you, that I'm assuming, and forgive me, I know this, I hope you guys can even see this. The colors down here are so gloomy, you can barely see what's going on. I really feel like that the gloominess is, let me back up so you can see the whole painting again. The darkness down here is a big part of what makes this painting work. I want all of this to stay mid-tone and darker so that everything up here is mid-tone and lighter. And the blue in the middle, sort of a dividing line. Now, I do have something, by the way. Let's talk about this. It comes up actually quite frequently, but most people are not conversant with this principle. Everybody, every artist, in the sound of my voice, I could say, has heard the principle of I love you guys chatting with each, laughing at each, making jokes and talking to each other. That's just a scream. Okay, every artist in the sound of my voice knows the rule about the horizon, correct? Everybody knows you want your horizon either 1/3 from the top or 1/3 from the bottom, correct? Correct, all right. However, there is a very good question about what constitutes a horizon. All right? It turns out it's not like everything else in art, right? Welcome to art. Oh, it ain't that simple. You know, just about the time you think you got a handle on something, you go, oh wait, what? It's not that. No, it's okay, because the question remains, what constitutes a horizon? And I'll just keep it really simple. There are two kinds of horizon. One is the literal horizon, and that's also called eye level. And it's real easy to imagine if I describe it to you. The literal horizon is where the earth meets the sky. If you're standing at the ocean, or if you're standing in the wheat fields of Kansas or the salt flats of Utah, you know, if you're standing somewhere where you can literally see with unbroken line all the way to the literal horizon, that's where the horizon is. Now, most of us can visualize the horizon. You don't have to be at the beach. You don't have to be in the wheat fields of Kansas. Forgive me just a minute. I'm going to move my easel back just a little bit. Most of us can visualize the horizon. You simply put your arm out like this, up a little bit so it's at eye level, and just point straight out, okay? What that means is, if you're accurate, and you know what straight out means, you can visualize it, you know, perpendicular to a line to the center of the earth, right? That's where the horizon would be if there weren't hills, buildings, trees, and what all in the way, which, you know, almost always they're, again, unless you're at the beach or unless you're at a very, very flat landscape, there is almost always something in the way between you and the horizon. But nevertheless, that is the literal horizon. All right? Now but wait a minute. Let's talk about human beings for a minute, because this is where a lot of us would mess up. Given the opportunity, we'll mess up here. If you're painting, and let's just assume that you, like me, are average height. By the way, I'm as average as can be. I don't know how tall I am now. I haven't measured myself in a long time, but I was 5'9" and 3/4", you know, as a young man. And at the time, I remember reading years and years and years ago that the average male in America was 5'9" and 3/4". So I'm literally average height. You can't get any more average than me. Neither tall nor short, just average. And if you're painting a room full of people or a street full of people, you hold your arm out like this, your arm's going to bisect everybody that is of average height, like yourself. Now, if you're short, if you're 5'2" and you go like this, then everybody who's 5'2", their head, this line, this horizon will bisect there. If you're 6'4" and you do this, everybody who's 6'4", their heads will be bisected by the horizon. Does that make sense? So here I am, by the way, I am of average height, and I am assuming I have 4 people standing in this painting. Oh, and they all have blue shirts. That's a mistake. We need to fix that. It looks like a uniform that the restaurant has, but that's completely unintentional. I just noticed that just now, so that's something that needs to be fixed. Okay, so if they are of average height, which frankly, most of the time when you're painting, you don't want to do a whole bunch of really short people or a whole bunch of really tall people. Most of the time, you're painting essentially mannequins, average height people, although skinnier than normal. But anyway, we talk about that a lot. All right, so here's the literal horizon in this painting. So it's even not quite to 1/3 from the bottom. But we know exactly where the horizon is, not because we can see it. We can't see the ocean, we can't see wheat fields of Kansas, but we know where it is because we have 4 people's heads that are all almost exactly at the same height. So it's very unlikely that that 4 people are all 5'4" short or 6'4". Do you follow me? So we can safely assume that's the horizon. But that's the literal horizon. There is, and this comes into play big time in this painting, there is often a visual horizon which can differ very widely from the literal horizon. A visual horizon is any major lines, horizontal lines that appear in the painting. Of course, in this painting, the most obvious is this band of blue right across here. And as you can see, that visual horizon in this case is dangerously close to the exact center of the canvas, which is, again, something normally you want to avoid. Am I making sense? So there are 2 kinds of horizons you need to watch out for. One is the literal horizon, the other is the visual horizon. And I have given this some thought, and I think I can get away with this, of having a visual horizon right there. Hey, Rory. Good. Thank you. Now, why do I think I can get away with it? First of all, it's dangerous. And should I have, made my camera tip even higher so this will go lower, or should I have tipped the camera lower so these will go higher? Good questions. Good questions, both. As it is, and I did think about it somewhat. I don't know if you can hear me. I'm saying I think I'm okay in this painting. Even though I'm breaking a rule, I have a strong visual horizon right in the middle. And let me tell you why I think I'm getting away with it. And you're welcome to disagree with me. You might be saying, no, I think that is a real weakness. It's actually been bothering me. Somebody might say it's been bothering me the whole time. And I can understand that because I'm sort of ambivalent myself. I think I can get away with it. First of all, because it's slightly below halfway. Do I have a? Yeah. Here's. This is of course above, but anyway, I think the weight of the line is slightly below. But that's stretching it because it's still so close. I've got a support on the back of the canvas here. There's the middle of the canvas right there. Dang, I don't know, but I think the weight of the blue is slightly below. But here's where I really think that I probably am okay. And I'm open for you guys to disagree with me, but I think I'm okay because of the literal horizon. When you look at this painting, it's obvious that we, the viewer, that we're looking up at these buildings. In fact, so much so that I have the third point perspective happening in those buildings. We've talked about that quite a bit last week or earlier this week, whenever it was when I was doing this painting. So that's my answer. It's like, I might be wrong, but I think I can get away with it, breaking a rule of having this strong. I think it's part of the charm. Now let me give you another principle, by the way. Let's talk about the law of thirds, or the rule of thirds, again, which says you should have your major horizontal marks here and here, and your major vertical marks here and here, thirds, right? Tic-tac-toe shape. One of my rules for composition this is like composition 101. This is the simplest. So if you're a beginner painter or drawer, use this one. Okay, here it is. Number 1, learn the law of the thirds and follow it. Comma or semicolon, comma. And then twist it, or give it a twist. Give it a slight tweak, so you don't always slavishly follow the law of thirds. You do the law of thirds, and then you scrunch a little bit one way or the other, so that it's not boring. That to me, that's the simplest composition rule there is. Learn the law of thirds, then violate it gently. Or the hard part isn't how gently, right? The hard part is knowing, having an intuition of what will work and what won't. So in a way, I've done that here. I took the law of thirds and I said, I'm going to put, but I think I'm stretching it to claim that. But because the literal horizon is here and the visual is here, that's what makes me think I can get away with it, all right? But anyway, it gave me a good chance to talk about the horizon, which again, probably some of you have maybe never heard that before. There's a real horizon, literal horizon, and then there are many visual horizons. And because I'm a painter of cities and architecture, I'm very often very more concerned with visual horizons than I am literal ones. But when I paint a crowd of people, oh my goodness, I have to be very aware of the literal horizon. And do you understand? These four heads define for us the literal horizon. Again, because it's unlikely that I'd have 4 people that are 5 feet tall, unlikely that I have 4 people that are 7 feet tall. It's likely there are 4 people that are 6 feet tall, give or take a few inches, right? So there you go. That's my story. I'm repeating for you. I'm sticking with it. All right, I'm quite happy with what happened with those dark marks. Let me zoom back in. You guys are having a great conversation. Let me go back and see what you... oh, a Plymouth horizon. Whoa. Oh, pff, you got me. Hook, line, and sinker. I just swallowed the whole thing. That is hilarious. Just swallowed the whole thing. That's hilarious. I was so much in my art mind, I wasn't ready for a joke. Oh boy, that's good. Whoop. Hang on here. Let me get my monitor back up. Hang on. A little bit of urban renewal here. All right. Troy, good night all. Good morning, Troy. Goodbye. Uncle says I should put some trash flying around. No trash. All right. I haven't been using these brushes too long, so I'm just going to keep on for a little while. I'm going to start mixing in now some slightly lighter values. Whoops. That right there, that's not slight. That's like way, oh my goodness. That's way lighter value. Okay, now the last time that I painted this scene that Barbara bought up there in Ohio, thank you, Barbara, I talked quite a bit when I was painting essentially the same subject matter. It was horizontal, so I've actually done this scene twice, which is surprising actually. But especially when I was doing the sidewalk showing up between the people and the chair legs and table and so on, between all the stuff. But same here, same thing is happening here. The forgive me. The sidewalk is a light color behind the dark furniture and the dark figures, right? Man, that's still too bright. I can't believe it. It is so dull on my palette, but when I put it up here on the canvas, it's suddenly, this right here is a great example, clinic even, of muddy color. That, in other words, that mud has nothing to do with color, because that is not a mud. That doesn't look muddy. That looks quite bright. Okay, and it's actually the thing I want to mention here is that the last time I did this scene, I talked quite a bit about punctiliar light, and I want to say that again, because perhaps there's somebody here who wasn't there last time. I like to say it this way. The human eye is inexorably drawn. That means it cannot help itself, cannot resist. The human eye is inexorably drawn to punctiliar light. Let me repeat that. The human eye is inexorably drawn. That means it can't help itself to punctiliar light. Now, why punctiliar? Why don't I say points of light? And I do have a linguistic reason. If I say the human eye is inexorably drawn to points of light, way too many of you will go in a wrong direction with that. You'll think that I'm saying, hello, Susan. Happy cleaning your RV. Oh, doggone it. That was loud. Whew, I literally jumped. There's a fire truck coming down the street, and for some reason he decided to honk his honker. I think he was doing it for fun, to make people like me jump. Well, he got me. It worked. Okay, if I say that human eye is inexorably drawn to points of light, then too many people would think, oh, I see, like candles and Christmas lights and stars. And even though that is true, those are examples of punctiliar light. No, this is punctiliar light right here, and there's not a star or a candle or a Christmas light anywhere in here. Does that make sense? What is punctiliar? It's points of light, but point-ish light. That's where the word punctiliar, referring to points of light, but it's not literally points of light. Okay, remember that. Remember that. In any painting, I see this, for instance, I see this mistake made in landscapes all the time. Is let's say I probably used this example before, but it's the most obvious one that comes to mind. Let's say there's a lake or a stream or ocean, some body of water in the painting. Most of the time on our planet, that body of water is going to be of a light value, right? Because it's reflecting the sky. Correct? You with me? And then let's imagine that in your painting or mine, there's some plant in front of some of that water, either grass at the bottom or leaves coming down or seagrass, sea oats or whatever. Just imagine that there's some kind of dark thing in front of the light water. That's what many beginner artists, they'll get that part right, so to speak. They'll paint. Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. They'll paint. Forgive me, I'm right in mid-thought. They'll do the light water and then the dark grass, say, and they think they're done, when in fact they've missed a golden opportunity. In fact, really a requirement, not just an opportunity. They've missed coming back, and this is where the whole concept of tree holes, sky holes, commonly called sky holes, this is where it comes in. You want to paint the bright water between the dark grass last, because that's punctiliar light, and that the human eye loves it. So when I say it's inexorably drawn, in this case, you want to give the human eye what it wants. So I'm just explaining to you what every human eye wants. It wants to see points of light. Again, that's a dangerous term, because if I say points of light, too many people are likely to think, candles and stars and so forth. So that's why I use the term punctiliar. All right. Have I beaten that to death enough? I suspect that I have. So let's move on to other things, shall we? I have a woman sitting right here that definitely looks like she's dark complected. So I just want to re-accentuate that a little bit. Oh yeah, that's nice. I actually do have a photograph of, I took several pictures the last time I was out here, the last 2 times, and I actually do have a photograph that accurately reflects that girl right there. But I need some other figures in here that are, I'm feeling like this is a scene full of white people, and I am uncomfortable with that. It's not real, it's not believable. So and I'm violating a rule here by making a part of my painting darker and using opaque paint. Got it? So if you want to know, yes, every rule can be broken. I'm not finished with that guy, but I'll leave it that way for now. Let's do this person over here brown too. That might be enough. Very close to finished. Again, I'm in the somebody needs to shoot me zone probably. I'm going to mix up lighter, maybe lighter than any color I've used on here, and I think I want it bluish, I'm not sure, for glass, and there actually should be a lot of glass in this scene. Because there are a lot of people that look like they're holding up a glass close to their mouth. And I think if I just go ahead and spell that out a little bit, that will give the viewers like, oh yeah, that person's drinking. And this is a server, clearly a server. He's got a tray and it's got a pitcher on it, maybe a couple glasses. I don't want to do too many and make it corny, Too much of a good thing, it's not a good thing. There is another thing I need to do. I have one woman here who is urging me to see her with blonde hair. And that's too blonde. It's way too blonde, but be patient. I think I can fix it. When in doubt, grab a rag and paint with a rag. And then That's, not sure about that one. I probably want one other person in this scene to have light here, but not that light. Let's darken that down quite a bit. And find, I think this person right here, looks like a girl, I think. Oh, let's go back to the light neutral color to do some dishes as well. Just a little bit, just a hint of stuff on the table, which also is punctiliar light. It's not quite as effective because it's a positive instead of a negative. Negative painting is always more interesting than positive painting, okay? Whenever possible, look for an excuse to paint negatively. That is, paint not an object, but paint around an object. Define an object not by painting it, but by painting what's not it, right? Whenever possible. All right, I'm real close to overdoing it here. If I keep going, I will be in real trouble. And remember, I do have an issue. I have 3 men standing, 4 men, they look like men to me, and they're all wearing blue, so that needs to be fixed. All right, so since they have blue on, the easiest thing would be to go either purple or green. This guy already has just a hint of green on him, so let's push him a little bit toward green. And this guy over here has a hint of purple, so let's push him in a purple direction. So I only have 2 guys with blue, and that might be okay. All right, while I'm got purple on my brushes, though, let's do some broken color stuff. One of my favorite broken colors, there's no doubt about it, and this might be a weakness because if you do too much of anything, you know, it becomes a formula, but I don't think I'm doing too much yet. Here it is. Purple violet, dark purple violet is a great substitute for darkness. Like wherever there's dark in your painting, almost always you can substitute that darkness for purple or violet. I've been using this verbiage lately. Of course, in purple and violet, there's quite a range, right? From bluish to reddish. I just switched over to a more bluish purple. The language I'm going to say I've been using a lot lately because I just discovered I've never heard this, I don't think, but the color purple or violet recedes away from the viewer. It's a shy color. It runs and hides. It seems to recede away from the viewer. That means you can actually, here's how that gets practical. That means you can actually put some broken color in a painting, a broken purple, that is actually too light, too bright. You know, a broken color means you match the value, but you change the color, right? That's the definition of broken color. But you can actually tweak that a little bit because the purple recedes, so you can actually use a purple that's brighter. That's exactly what I'm doing right now. It's brighter than it ought to be, and it still works because of this I'm going to call it recessive trait. Sounds like I'm talking genetics now, doesn't it? Because of this recessive trait, and how can I say it a different way? A mid-tone purple, when it's put on the painting, will appear to be a dark purple. It appears to be darker than.
That it looks like those blue awnings are actually sticky.
Yes,
That was
indeed.
great,
Good.
wasn't it?
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. So I'd love to, if somebody has known that for years, maybe I'm the last one to find out. I don't remember ever hearing that before. That's pure observation. But to me, the observation is so strong to me. I mean, it's so obvious that this is the case that I have virtually no doubt of the authenticity of what I'm saying here. It just surprises me that I've never heard anybody else say it, and maybe they've said it in different words and I missed it. So I'd love to see your chat or your comments if somebody already knows that, maybe has. Conversely, and I've talked about this quite a bit, I've known this for years, green, especially chartreuse yellow green, is the very opposite. If purple recedes, chartreuse bright green proceeds. It's the most aggressive color toward the viewer, and that's why green is such a dangerous color and messes up so many beginner painters, because they think they're putting, you know, a moderate green on their canvas, but they don't realize that green is like a wild dog. It's aggressive. It comes to the end of the chain and goes rah, 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 tries to get at you, if you're not aware of that, it can really bite you. You know, this one woman right here with the blonde hair, I don't know. I'm going to try just doing some dark details. Her body isn't quite working here. Her figure is, and it's real subtle and disappearing. I don't mind that, but it's not disappearing in a pleasant way. So let me try something dark and see if that helps. No, that did not help. Plus it was brownish, and that brown looked terrible there. That might be okay. Let me scribble it for a second. Again, scratching like that is not that dangerous, because you can come back immediately and back down, ease off, rub out some of the scratching you just did, which is exactly what I just did right there. I have two children here, and this boy, at one point he had a hat on, then he lost his hat. I think I'm going to put it back on him there. And this is a girl. She's a rather homely girl, which is always kind of sad. Where to now? Oh, I just remembered something that is remaining unfinished, begging my attention, is just a little wooden thing at the top of these umbrellas. At the top of each umbrella is a wooden thing. I think the technical term is thing, wooden thing. And let's, while we've got this color on our brushes, let's do some of this strut support structure on these umbrellas can be emphasized a little bit more. There. All right, I am looking. I'm gonna clean some brushes. There is enough energy down here now. Oh, I've been painting somewhat out of your frame, haven't I? Not much, just a little bit, not much. But I think there's enough energy down here at the bottom, definitely. Hello. They had blue umbrellas up here They had blue umbrellas up here when I started last week. Color mostly. Color and value, lightness, brightness.
Have you stepped to the side and looked at it?
Not enough, no. God, I need to come look from a distance, don't I? That's a great idea.
I just see like some kind of distortion when I got on it. It's like,
You are right. Yep. Good. Looks good from a distance. I'm happy to report. When I was lightening this sign up here, I'm changing my mind here. These marks right here need not to be brown, but blue. I'm going to lower, which is a little bit of an operation again. I'm getting very close to finished. I don't want to blow it. I don't want to go too far. But now that I've been focusing on the bottom all this time, I'm going to go back up to the top. So I'm going to lower my easel down a little bit. Is that low enough? Let me look. No, I'm actually going to lower it one click more. There we go. Now my light is hitting me in the head. Not literally, but I do think I'm going to have to fix it. Okay, so the job gets more complicated. Hang on. Good. I have a bid of $50 on my painting. I appreciate that. Just for fun. It's not going to go for $50 probably. You probably know that. But it's fine with me that somebody placed a bid of $50. It really is. Part of the game, part of the fun, part of the social interaction. So I appreciate it. I would let this painting go for $800. Twist my arm, maybe $750, but yeah, I'm gonna say 8. Goodness knows I've been put enough days of painting into it, didn't I? All right. Let me lower you guys down. You guys are saying all kinds of interesting things to each other. Wish I had time just to read, but I don't. Now let me dim this light a little bit. I've made the mistake too many times and I can go from cool to warm and everywhere in between. Oh, I see. This little girl down here with blonde hair. That just needs to be smudged, that's all. Same thing with the boy's hat. Same thing with this woman's hair. Same thing with this man's face. A little bit too hard edge there. This is the beauty. This is the beauty of oil painting, right? You can't do this with acrylics. With acrylics, you only have one recourse, and that is slap another layer on top of it. And with oils, you can smudge around for quite a while, and that's a definite advantage. Right. Now let's focus, and I'm happy to say, at least at the moment, I'm quite happy with the painting. And you know, when I lowered it down, I sort of got a new angle, new viewpoint on the bottom part, and I'm going, yeah, that works. Okay, I'm going to take a few minutes here to distract myself and clean up. Since I'm doing it, I might as well let you watch me. It's not very interesting, but it's more interesting than just seeing my bald head flash back, bob back and forth in your monitor. There are one very distinct advantage about not being famous. You guys completely except for maybe a few old friends who stumble on here once in a while, but most of the time that's not the case. You guys accept how old I look because you never knew me when I looked younger, so I look completely normal to you. Whereas if you're a famous actor or actress, you know the drill, especially when you get to my stage of life and you remember when, you know, not only the old, I'm not talking Elizabeth Taylor, I'm talking like, and I'm not good with actors' names, but like Sandra Bullock, you know? And you go, wait, what? Isn't she still young? and then you see her, or Julia, what's her name? You know, the pretty woman. You go, wait a minute, isn't she still young? And then you see her go, ooh, wow, when did that happen? And they're still beautiful, but we remember them from their movies 20 or 30 or 40 years ago, right? Which at my stage of life is not that long ago. You go, wow. So nobody does that with me except my close friends, and they're nice enough to keep their mouth shut. Not really. So my bald head doesn't bother you guys at all because I just look like the old man that I am. So I should stop talking about it, shouldn't I? I'm the one who's shocked by how old I look, and everybody my age goes, amen, brother. Who's that old guy? You know, what's the most shocking is when you're taking a picture with your phone and somehow your finger slipped. You hold up the phone in front of you and you're trying to take a picture of the street, and instead all of a sudden you're looking at yourself, and it's invariably a shock. You know, you didn't have any time to brace yourself. Like, whoa. Who's that old guy? Any young people listening to me, you just, you remember that we told you when we're dead and gone and you're our age, you say, doggone, they were right. It comes on at like a surprise. All right, I think, I hate to keep repeating, but I think I'm quite happy with the energy down there at the bottom of this canvas. All right, so I want to work here now and let me raise you up because you're getting too much glare. See if I angle you like this. Maybe get a little bit less. Whoops. Okay, is that better? Hi, David. Yeah, oh, you know what? Funny you asked. David asked if the street lights are on or off. Let me actually show you. So, hang on. I'm gonna get it there yet. I promise. So one is on, one is off. The whole time I've been painting down here, one of those street lights has been burned out. It's still not high enough. There we go. So one's on. Got a lot of glow there, huh? All right. So there are just a few things that I want to do to this before I wrap up. I'm happy to say I think I'm in the wrap-up zone. I'm close. I want to pick just a few areas up here to do a little spark. Well, two things: broken color and sparkle. Let's do the broken color first. So I have a nice clean palette to work with. I'm going to pick up my permanent rose, which is a very intense, cool, transparent red, but I'm going to kill it with some raw umber, and of course with some Naples yellow, which is like a pale yellow ochre. So I now have a cranberry plum color, and it's fairly bright. And in fact, it's pink enough that it could actually qualify for this recent artificial assignment I've given myself, where I want to use some pink and some aqua turquoise in every painting, and some intense yellow. PEAR. See, this isn't quite the pink, but it's close enough. It looks like a hot pink on the. So if you put a little bit of this intense color in a place that's darker, then it's not functioning as broken color. You understand that, right? It's functioning then as broken value, which is actually even more important than broken color. But broken value is my whole painting technique is sort of broken value on steroids. So I don't need to come back and artificially put some broken color in my paintings. There's plenty of it just as is. I've actually stumbled back into doing some more purple now. That's enough of that. Let's go to blue. And for broken color, again, I typically just go right around the color wheel, very, very mechanically. And I can easily imagine being a better artist in the future sometime, where I don't do broken color as a separate and distinct step, where I just incorporate it into every step of the painting process. I can imagine that. I can imagine attaining that high level of sophistication. But I'm not there yet. So until I can do it, I'm just going to do what I'm doing. Ooh, that's nice. So again, I've got blue on my brushes, looking for similar value and it's sort of a periwinkle blue that is cool, purplish blue. Oh, I'm going to do something right now that is not broken color, but needs to be done. That is the outer edge of this sign. It's a metal sign, and the outer edge catches reflection of the blue sky. There's a hint of it now, but I can pump that up quite a bit. So again, what I'm doing right now is not broken color. That's broken value. That's just accent. That's just sparkle. Okay? That's want to be clear. There we go. A little sigh of a little bit of work today. I did the broadcast that didn't work. I did 9 storyboards that finished the line art. They're all done, and except for color. All right, that's enough of blue. Don't want to overdo it. Let's just go right around. Next is green. And I don't have any green on my palette, so I'm going to mix up some green real fast. By the way, one of the most intense greens you can create is, or get, is phthalo blue and lemon yellow, Hansa yellow, cad yellow light, and in my case, cad imitation. But a good phthalo blue and yellow, and it creates a super intense green. Talk about that's not what I'm using right now. It's what I mixed up and then killed it with a generous swab of raw umber. My favorite color killer. Ooh, I see a place for some green. There we go. Yeah, that's nice. Same thing here, a little dot right there. So when you're doing broken color, you're actually looking for things that are not, like in this case, not green. So what I did over here in the tree, that was not broken color. Again, am I making sense? I don't want to confuse anybody. I say I'm doing broken color, and then many times I spill out to doing sparkle or broken value. Or local color, like doing green on a tree. That's not broken color. It's pretty obvious, right? That's just local color, realistic color. So broken color, I think, sort of has to be non-local. Like you don't put brown on a face, on a person's face. That is not broken color, right? That's local color, realistic color. Once again, the green that's on my brushes right now is quite a dull green. But green is an aggressive color. And again, that has to do, I don't want you to get the feeling like, well, that's your opinion. No. That's not opinion. It has to do with the way our eyeballs are made, rods and cones. All right, enough of green. Next thing around the wheel would be, I know, it's time to do my obligatory bit of turquoise or aqua. Well, on my way, let's do some bits of chartreuse, intense green. So this is broken color right here. With a very intense green. All right, that's enough of that. A little bit of aggressive green goes a long, long ways. You don't need to do much of that to get attention. Now, I'm going to try to mix up a really pure, clean aqua turquoise color. There we go. Make it slightly lighter. That is a beautiful color. Now, let me explain a little bit why am I doing this. And I confess it's sort of me playing games a little bit, but I think it's, for me, a game worth playing. Here's what I've discovered. And this is fairly recent discovery, honestly. I've discovered that left to my own devices, there are actually 3 colors. That's amazing, 3. That I never put on my painting. One is pink, bubblegum pink, sometimes known as a sickly bubblegum pink, named by myself, of course. So you can sort of tell how I feel about bubblegum pink. So sickly bubblegum pink, cad yellow or lemon yellow or Hansa yellow, bright, intense yellow, 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 bright, intense yellow. I left my own devices. I discovered, much to my shock, that I don't use that color. I just flat do not use it. In fact, for many years I didn't have any light pale even on my palette. And then the third color is this turquoise. So I'm just sort of playing a game with myself. Say, okay, let's make sure then, whenever I think about it, I don't always think about it, let's make sure
You know
that
what? You was a hell of an artist.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Now, let's make sure that I have a little bit of each of those colors, and maybe the day will come when I won't have to make sure of that anymore because I'm not afraid of those colors anymore. And that's a fair description of how I feel about those 3 colors. It's like, ooh, no, I don't like them. And I've said this before, but I think for an artist to say, I don't like such and such a color, I mean, you could, like I've said it, but to actually act on that is just stupid. That's just, you know, that's, I don't know what an analogy, I'm not a chef, but I think it's like a chef saying, oh, you know, I don't really care much for garlic or something, you know, garlic flavor. Well, that's just stupid. You can't be a chef and not like garlic. So that's the game that I'm playing with myself. All right, so I have several little bits of pink, several bits of turquoise. So the one that I don't have done yet is yellow. Let's go right around the color wheel. That's next in line after green. And I do now have on my palette, I'm going to actually add a little bit of white to it. And this has to be broken color. Wow. Oh my goodness. It's just electric, just electric. Wow. So, my goodness. This illustrates a point though. Some of you, I can't tell you how many times over the decades while I'm teaching an art class, and now I don't do it because I know better, but I used to say, okay, pull up some yellow and like do a yellow glaze or yellow wash or something, you know, over some large size of your painting. And I will model this for them, you know, while I'm saying it, I'll demonstrate for them. And of course, I'm using a warm yellow. I mean, you could fairly call it orange, but it's not. It's yellow, but it's yellow orange. Got it? And I'll have students all wide-eyed and innocent, slapping this color, which this cold yellow, freezing cold yellow. And some of you will argue with me, can there be such a thing as as a freezing, and I contend absolutely, if you don't understand that that's what this is, then you just don't have eyeballs. That's pretty harsh, isn't it? So until you have a intuitive understanding of color, don't even buy lemon yellow, chartreuse. Don't buy cad yellow light. Don't buy lemon yellow. Don't buy Hansa yellow till you understand. And all three of those colors, the bright, intense, cold yellow, actually in your mind, in your mental framework, you should think of those as going in the green column. Don't even think of them as yellow. And what I'm doing right now is a great example of that. All these little bits of very bright yellow that I've done are closer to chartreuse intuitively than they are yellow. I'm going to leave them. Again, it's very bold for me. There's not much, but whew, there's enough to scare the willies out of me. But I honestly think it's okay. It's just I'm not used to it, but other people are. So I'm trying to become a better colorist. All right. So have I gone all the way around the color wheel? No. Next would be orange. Well, that'll be easy. I don't have to clean my brushes or anything. Okay. So I've got orange on my brushes now. And if I want to do broken color, once again, I know, sorry you guys, I keep sounding like a broken record to you regulars. I need to be looking for things that are not orange. Okay, so what I just did right there, that's not broken color. Do you understand? That's local color. It was a conscious decision. I hate that I'm confusing you all. I say I'm going to do broken color, and then I put orange paint on an orange brick building. That's because it needed it. It helped the painting, but okay. Same thing here. This is not broken color. This is sparkle. It's just a lighter version was there. Okay, in order to do, here we go. This is broken color. There was nothing orange in there at all. If I put orange in this tree, that's broken color. Oh, and here it brings up a good question. A little while ago, I did green on some of the dividers in this window. Now it's green, can I come and do orange on top of the green? Is that then broken color? The answer is yes, absolutely. So you can, in other words, yes, you can do broken color on top of broken color. It wasn't green, then it was, and then I did orange on top of the green, both of them acting as broken colors. In fact, I'm beginning to think some of the funnest, is that a word, funnest? Some of the funnest expressions of broken color is that very thing that I just did. Same thing there, orange on top of green. I am happy to say my painting has gotten noticeably more interesting in the last 10 or 15 minutes, however long I've been doing this broken color thing. I just, as my eye skitters across the picture, across the canvas, I perceive this subtle vibration or flashing, like on-off, strobing effect. And it is quite surprising and quite pleasant. What I'm doing right now is classic broken color. I'm doing smudges of orange on top of blue. That worked very well. I'm going to do some more of it. And then I get into the danger of, if something's a lot of fun, like that was, then be careful not to do too much of it. Right? That's one of those funny laws of painting. If something's a lot of fun to do, spattering is the classic. Spattering is a lot of fun. So we wind up and do one spatter and say, "Woo, that was so fun! Let's do another one," and then you're in trouble because that second one might have already been too much. So the rule is to watch out for. If something's a lot of fun, be careful not to do too much of it. All right, now, whew, does it seem like I've been working on this painting for an eternity? And it does to me, and I'm not even reading your chats. I'll have to do that. It'll take me an hour to read your chats. So I dare not start doing it now. All right, I think last thing I'm going to do, you know how that goes. It's like a preacher when he says, finally. And you know good and well, if you know preachers, you don't believe when they say finally, you don't necessarily believe they really mean finally. 20 minutes later, and not just preachers, of course. A lot of people follow it. All right, so I've just mixed up a warm white, off-white, and the last thing I want to do here is some sparkle. So this is not broken color, this is broken value. And there's just one thing for sure is the letters on this sign. The sign has gone through a lot of adjustments over the last 2 outings, and the letters have suffered not by being messy, but by getting too dark. So I'm just coming in and hitting some sparkle. I like that word, as you can tell. I almost like that last stroke. Almost being the word there, but it's easy fix. Again, part of the beauty of oils is that many times you can somebody asked me early on whether those street lights were, Uncle 60, was that you? Whether those street lights were shining on the canopies, and I said I don't think so, but I think I'm changing my mind, at least right here. Yeah. I am so much looser than I used to be, even just 2 years ago. I'm so much better at leaving. Now, I can't wait till I'm better than I am now. I don't think I've arrived. Believe me, don't take my statement that way at all. But I'm so much more willing now than I was even just a few long months ago. Can I say it that way? I don't remember. It's a year or whatever. I'm so much more willing to leave soft edge, blobby, blurry, abstract brush marks on the canvas. And I think my painting is so much better because of it. Let me back up and look at my painting. Ooh, that sign looks so much better, the Boyle and Pierce sign, yeah. I think everything looks better. Yahoo, that's a happy feeling. I don't remember ever doing a painting with this kind of composition ever. I'm trying to think of Edgar Payne's design stems. I'm a big fan of Edgar Payne. He says that all the great compositions in the world can be boiled down to these 12 or 13, I forget if it's 12 or 13. And of course, a lot of people scoff at that, but I be careful about scoffing at consummate geniuses. Can I say that? Yeah, no, you scoff at Edgar Payne when you're better than him, okay? I am so not better than him, so I'm way far from scoffing, but I don't know. In our culture, it seems like people do that. None of you guys, none of my listeners would ever do that. Anyway, but I have had people scoff at when I mention this Edgar Payne concept. They say, "Oh, that's I think composition's just all intuitive." Well, that's because you're in third grade. I'm not sure you should be arguing with Edgar Payne yet. That's just an exaggeration, of course. I don't mean literally third grade, but you got the point. And of course, people do that. Forgive me, let me be arrogant for a moment. People do that on my YouTubes all the time. On my videos, criticize the heck out of something that I've done. And so every once in a while, I go and look at their stuff. You can hear what's coming, can't you? Oh my goodness, they are dog painters. I'm not going to tell you who they are, of course, but it's none of you. It is none of you. And of course, you guys are all nice, but it's just amazing. I got one just the other day from my pen and ink video, you know. And it wasn't this person said they were good, but they said, oh, you know, the best pen and ink jar in the world is so-and-so, so-and-so, and what you do is just horrible. Really? Let me see your stuff. And then when I do, I go, that's hilarious. Anyway, don't argue with Edgar Payne too quickly. So he says all the great compositions in the world can be reduced down to, forgive me, 12 or 13. And I've referred to that quite a bit. That's why I should know if it's 12 or 13. And I took his design stems and turned each one into a letter. And then I turned the letters into a sentence. And the sentence are NFL teams, then the word R, TOOXL. So here's how many. NFL TEAMS, then the word R, TOOXL. So it's 13. And anyway, I'm saying I don't know that I've ever done a painting that has quite this composition, and it's making me wonder, you know, does it fit into one of the, and it might fit into mass. He has one called simply mass. That's the M in teams. And it's that's one of his weaker points, I think. Again, I'm not arguing with him, but it's like, okay, Edgar, give me a little more insight here. But it might be mass, light, dark. Anyway, be that as it may, I think I think the painting is working, in spite of the fact that, and I'm not asking for, you know, you guys say, oh yeah, it's lovely, you know that. I'm not asking for a compliment, but I think it's working, in spite of the fact that it's a very unconventional composition. All right, it is only about 8:30 in the evening, and I'd be just delighted to go home. I have, if I can, a whole hour of trumpet practice ahead of me. By the way, I keep talking about this. I am when the season is right, I'm going to start bringing my instruments out on the street. I have to get a permit, of course. And when I'm done painting on a night like this, especially on a night like this, where The temperature is so pleasant. It's about 70 few degrees here. When I'm done painting, just sit down and begin to shift the atmosphere even more by playing music. I don't even know what I'm going to play. It would be completely spontaneous. And I don't know if I'll leave you guys camera rolling or not. I might turn you off and then play. I don't know. Be that as it may. I'm calling it done. That doesn't mean, of course, that in the next day or two or whatever. If anybody knows somebody that wants a nice 30 by 40 vertical painting, $800, let me know. Oh, doggone it. I just remembered. No, I'm not done. I've got a little detail here. The Pepsi logo on the umbrellas. I've got it roughed in dark, but it's supposed to be light. And I don't remember what it looks like. Bear with me just a minute. Let me find my backup phone. My music quit playing a long time ago, didn't it? Okay, hang on just a second. So I have to look up here. Pepsi, I can't believe I forgot that. By the way, all of my paintings eventually, I'll post a decent image of them on my YouTube community page. Okay, PEP, Pepsi logo. There we go. And let's hit image. It's got to be one of these. Okay, yep, there it is. It is lowercase e. And yes, this is driving me crazy. Painting with one hand. On my left hand actually does much better because it's much less controlled. Pardon?
How long you been painting
This
this?
this is my 4th trip downtown to get this thing painted. So that's pretty slow. I'm easily 10 or 12 hours.
What is supposed to be?
Pardon?
What this supposed to be?
Oh, can you figure it out?
Downtown Raleigh?
Yeah, well, no. That not exactly. That's
We live?
we are.
We live?
We are on YouTube.
I'm on YouTube?
Yep.
Huh?
Yep.
Nah, you can't see me.
No, that's right. That's right. They can't see you. They can just hear you.
Huh?
They can just hear you. Okay, look around. Now, I will tell you that they've taken down the blue umbrellas.
Oh,
But it's not down. There you go. Almost.
okay.
Yeah, it's a Big Easy. There's the Briggs Hardware, and there's the Boylan Pierce building.
Oh, they took that down though.
They took the.
No, the upper part.
They did?
Yeah, look. The upper part's not there.
Oh, it's dark now.
Huh?
Is that what you mean? It's dark?
No. The windows is not there. The upper windows.
Yeah, they are. Just can't see them in this dark.
Oh, they got them closed.
What's your name again?
Ricky.
Ricky. Hi, Ricky. Good to see you again. All right, just about done. I thought I was done a minute ago, and then I realized I didn't have the Pepsi logo on the.
Yeah. Are you getting paid to do this?
No, I only get paid if somebody buys a painting. So either I'm making good money or I'm going broke. That's the way it goes. At the moment, I'm going broke.
Kristen Ashley is the owner. You know that, right?
Yep.
She'll probably buy it. She'll probably buy it.
Who? Yeah, maybe.
Kristen. What would you sell this for?
$800.
She'll buy this,
There.
yeah.
All right, I think I'm done. Clean my brushes, and I'm gonna see if there's some of you guys, some of your chats that I just have to respond to. Usually there are, and it's great fun. So hang on for a minute. I'm gonna pull up a stool. Ricky, I'm going to talk to my friends who've been talking to me. All right. Oh man, going way back. How long have I been going? It's 8:30 and I started at. So I've been going over 2 hours. Woohoo! Joe Lee says, I'm counting down with you. Will you be delighting us with a special painting for $700? I might. Yeah.
Lap time on this,
Yeah, that's right. I can go back and watch it fast.
I see that.
Yep. Marlene Miller, good to hear from you. Haven't heard from you in a while. Oh, good. Reminds you of Van Gogh's Cafe Terrace at Night. I'll take that. This does look a little bit Van Gogh-ish down here. Boy, that's a good compliment. Thank you. It is dark, Uncle 60. We had Troy here from Australia, and then he had to leave. He had to go to work, I think. J.R. Nyheiser. Good to have you back on board. Thank you, Uncle 60, again, for your $3 tip for camera battery money. You got that right. I love where I was talking about seeing pictures in the clouds, and you guys all talking about what you saw. I said he faces, and then you all guys said all animals. Yeah, that too. Troy Castle got his airbrush situation straightened out. That's good. Thank you, Ricky. That's where the Tim Tams came. I started seeing you guys talking about Tim Tams, didn't know where it came from. So Foxhole Willie answers Troy. I'll give you a definitive airbrush PSI answer, but it'll cost you a case of Tim Tams. Oh man. Oh, Joe Lee, we're counting down to 7, but Daily Art Adventure 700. Yeah, that's only 2 away, right? You know, it might be tomorrow. Tomorrow morning, I'll be doing storyboards. In fact, I might even do that some tonight. I'm going to see how much energy I have when I get home after blowing my brains out with a trumpet. Troy says I can use my shirt if I run out of paper towels. I love it. I think Troy's already gone, so we'll have to tell him later that we laughed at his joke. Oh, man. Plymouth Horizon, Foxhole Willie got me with a joke. And he also said, I scoff at the rule of thirds. I scoff. I dance on your grave. I spit in your eye. I dance on your grave. Good for you. Radina thinks my visual horizon is fine as is. I think it is too, but I sort of can't explain why. I just, for some reason, it seems to work. That's weird. That's actually the best, by the way. I'm not saying that about this, but the best paintings in the whole world are the ones where you can't explain why it's good, but it just grabs you. I'm, again, not saying this is that, but I have experienced that in the past, where it sort of takes every rule and bends it, twists it, stretches it just a little bit, and yet it still works. The flying garbage. Susan, I hope you got your RV all cleaned out. You're probably not with us anymore. You probably went to bed. People wanting trash flying in my city. No. Oh. Verdina says, so it's light at the top of the painting and very dim where the people are. There's a subliminal message here. Yeah, I hate people. Going glamping. Go, Susan. We're all coming. Where are you going? Sly Park, then to French Camp in September. Columbia. Oh, my goodness. We're all envious. Where are you starting from, Susan? You're California, aren't you? It's dangerous to try to remember where people are from. Dan, so Uncle 60 has it sounds like a serious question. Broken colors are a little different value of the same color. No. Broken colors are same value, different color. Broken values are same color, sometimes different value. Not always the same color, but what is a swipe of complete different color? That's broken color. Oh, if it's much brighter though, then that's broken value and color both. It doesn't have the same, does not create the vibrating effect. It can be nice sometimes, but it doesn't have the effect that the shimmer that the broken color creates. Yes, Redina, so green will always stand out to us. Jolie, you can place a bid right here or on the comments after the broadcast is over. I don't know if you're still with us, but I'll try to send you a message. You can just send a comment anywhere. Oh, good. Jolie raises the bid to 200. Thank you, Jolie. Appreciate that. Dark glaze at the top of the canvas. That's a very possibly a good idea. David, I don't know if you're still with us or not. Hey, right, Jackson. I will call you. I'll try to remember to call you when I get all packed up. I should do a children's book called Danny Can Paint, or Mom, can I buy a brush? I agree, right? David always has a good technical thought. That broken color on the lower window showing the edge of the wood as a glow. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, we were choppy for a while, I know. I don't know what happened there. Just broadcast got iffy. Hello, Cher in London. Good to hear from you. Been a long time. Hello, Barbara. I talked about you. Did you hear that? Yeah. Uncle 60 says Barbara should put down another bid. How would you like two versions of the same painting? Exactly. Don't call it a logo. Call it a group of letters. I agree. Oh yeah, do a giveaway at Broadcast 1000. That's a great idea. And then Jolie says exactly the same thing. It's a great idea. Yes, yes, I will zoom in. Thank you. Before I leave, let me take you from your nice settled perch up here and give you a little bit of a roller coaster ride. So hang on. Let's zoom you in and see if we can get away from all this glare. It's hard to do. Man, it's really hard to do. Okay. I'm just going to go slowly. This is for seeing details, that's all. Now there's a big shadow of my hand in front of the light. Let's come down here where you guys can really see what's going on. It's been so hard for you to see this. There, that shows up. Actually looks brighter now on my monitor than it does in real life, but that gives you a pretty good idea. Yeah, and again, at least on my monitor, that now looks brighter than it actually is. But there's some stuff. Where's some parts that I like? I really like this window right here. And again, I'm so sorry about the bad glare. I like the stuff there. I am quite happy with how this sign turned out. And I'm quite happy, I think, with how the bottom of the whole bottom of the painting turned out. All right. You know, YouTube keeps telling me people will watch more if you do 10-minute videos. And I know they're telling me the truth. Ouch. But what's the fun of that, eh? We have too much fun with all you guys. Like I say, don't you have jobs? Oh, Barbara, we were talking about. I was just talking about your painting of the same scene, but horizontal. That's all. We wouldn't say anything bad about you. I can't remember now what I said, but it was a reference to the painting that you bought. It was like this. All right, gang. It has been great fun as always. Thank you for your fun company. I appreciate it. You really helped me. I know it sounds crazy. I'm amazed how much having you guys watch me gives me the strength to carry on, shall we say. Whew, thank God this one's over. Thought it would never end. I would love to sell it now. I'm not saying that to you guys. I mean, I'm just saying it in general. Hang on, I just saw something. This could go on forever, couldn't it? Wait, I just saw something. All right, that's it. Bye.